How's married life? Are you ready to have a baby? Baby, baby. How about that baby? Ooh. I'm not getting any younger.
When you are ready. With the only neonatal intensive care unit in the Great Lakes Bay region, Covenant is the safest place for your delivery. Go to mycovenantbaby.com.
Good afternoon and welcome to our Covenant Healthcare sponsored pre-match. Jeff Doan and Colin Weber along with you at Thomas Lincoln Handy. It's Bay City Central and Pinconning this afternoon. A little nicer weather than the other day, but wind could be a factor in the match today.
A little bit different weather than we had. It's light out still. We have sun. It's not raining and it's not very cold, but the wind will be a factor. It'll be interesting to see how that affects balls in the air today. Look for both teams to try to play on the ground as frequently as possible.
Bay City Central obviously led by Grew and Willette, two of their players that are very stellar.
Yeah, they're both high-level players. They've done really well. They had a good game. Unfortunately, they got beat last week by Garber 7-2, but both players stood out for the Wolves. It'd be interesting to see what Coach Jacobs does with them today.
When you look at the Pinconning area Spartans, they are a youthful team, but you got to love their numbers.
Yeah, they have a lot of players, so they're able to rotate players very frequently, so that's good. Players will stay fresh, and it helps at this point in the season just based on you don't want to have attrition build up for teams. You don't want to have injuries. So right now is a good time to rotate players. You want to have squad rotation so players are healthy going into the postseason.
We'll be back in just a minute as it's Central and Pinconning girls soccer here on Bay County TV.
Where did this rash come from?
Hold on, let me see. Could be bed bugs.
Oh. Mom, Grant says I have bed bugs.
Let's see what the doctor says.
Introducing Covenant Virtual Care. Real-time video doctor visits, e-prescriptions, and follow-up. Now extraordinary care comes to you.
See, it's just poison ivy. Smart advanced.
Learn more at Covenant Virtual Care.
Good afternoon and welcome Bay County TV. Jeff Doan and Colin Weber along with you. And boy, I guess right on cue, Colin, they decided to start playing.
Yeah, right away. Pinconning lost possession early and Central gives it right back.
And we have got Bay City Central in their home white, Pinconning in their away green uniforms. We're over at Thomas Lincoln Handy Intermediate School, which is now Central's new home field, and it's a pretty plush field that doesn't get a ton of use. It gets maybe 3-4 football games in the fall on the intermediate level, but other than that, it is just here for soccer.
Yeah, field that both the boys and the girls use for Central, so they'll get 10, 15, sometimes upwards of 15 games on it each year. So usually in pretty good condition come springtime.
Now we've got 3 officials today. Last week we only had 2. Big difference in coverage on the field with the third person.
Yeah, much easier for the officials to call off sides. As you have your ARs, they'll be right on the second to last defender, so that's good for the defending players. They're able to trust their officials at that point.
And the officials will be keeping the time as well because they do not have the portable time-keeping device out that we normally have, so we'll kind of keep it on our watch as well, so at least we know when we're in the neighborhood. We thought we were in the neighborhood last week, Colin.
Yeah, and that was with the scoreboard. We were looking at it and it said zeros for us, so maybe it might be a little easier now. No confusion, I suppose.
So Bay City Central early on here getting into the offensive mix is Olivia Willette trying to make stuff happen, and Pinconning doing a nice job to thwart that first attempt as they head back down for the first time this afternoon into Pinconning's offensive zone.
They had a quick counter. Central lost the ball about midfield. Just a little bit of a sloppy touch by the center back, and Pinconning pounces quickly.
Now, unlike the other night, too, our 2 officials on the side got flags instead of just pointing, so we've really progressed nicely in a week.
Yeah, we're going to be able to understand calls much easier. And different from last week is it's not nearly as brutal weather-wise.
Well, it's much windier than it was last week, but cold and rain were prevalent in last week's game, and those are less than ideal conditions for the combatants.
Yeah, no, don't want to play in those. So today we got a nice little breeze, nice sun, warm weather. I'd prefer to play in this game than last week.
Yes, yeah, in this type of weather too. Once you get running, it's 60 degrees outside and breezy. It's probably pretty
Perfect.
ideal for the players.
Yeah. you don't even, you're never overheat at that point. It's just, you're just running around having fun, playing a game that you like since you were a little kid.
Now, and what I see during this game is the officials with yellow flags. That's about the only thing yellow you like to see with the officials' hands on.
Yeah, last week we saw a red card that ended up kind of punishing Central. As we're in the attack here, she takes a shot from inside the 6, and Grew will put that away as it comes off the goalkeeper. She comes back post and punches one in for the Wolves.
Great offensive charge. Gruel sitting back there for an easy putback after an initial save by the goalie. The goalie could not save it. And Central with a quick 1-0 lead. We're going to have to keep track of the score here, too, because that's not on the board.
Yeah, so we had Olivia Willette charging up the left-hand flank, cut inside, got inside the 18-yard box, takes a shot. Goalkeeper makes a pretty good kick save, but defenders were not there to clean it up for her.
And Central, much like last week, got the first goal of the game.
Yeah.
And we'll see if they can build.
Yeah, they've done some different stuff. Number 2, number 3, Willette and Grew were playing center backs last week. They're high up the pitch right now. Willette's a solo striker right now, and Grew's playing on the right-hand side, looks as a winger. Looks like they're going to play 5 in the midfield, 2 of those being wingers, 3 center mids, with 1 solo striker. Looks like Callahan moved it into the center mid position this week as well.
So Coach Jacobs obviously looking for a little more offense this week.
Yeah, it looks like they, Willette and Grew, for me last week were their best players. Is we have a foul committed deep in the Central defending third. This is going to be much like a corner kick as this free kick's taken. Not a bad foul, honestly. I mean, you're in a little bit of trouble if you get beat there down the byline, and you either have a shot at goal, which is going to be a tough angle, but we had, much like we had earlier, it could have been a deflection back across, or we swing one in, the cross comes in, Central looks to clear, not too far out, but they get it out of their 18-yard box. They look to possess out of the back. Callahan clears, Central's throw.
Well, very nicely done by Central, and obviously that initial kick to the outside is, if nothing worse, it goes out of bounds, you regroup and reset defensively.
Yeah,
they're able to keep
organized.
it in.
Yeah, that's a big thing. You want to get organized. Yeah, you don't want to be in a scramble in the box. That's trouble. Central's charging forward. Willette plays a terrific ball. Might be a little weighted too hard for Grew to get on the end of, but put that ball in a really, really good spot. So the winger is able to charge into space and have some momentum running at the back line.
Now, Colin, on a normal day, is that going to be a good kick? But with the heavy winds today, that one helped carry that ball out?
Yeah, it also depends on surface. This is one of the smaller fields these girls are going to play on. So on a little bit bigger of a field, that has a shot on goal. Goalkeeper makes the save. But this is one of the smaller fields. So on a bigger field, say at like a Saginaw Heritage, you'll be able to keep that ball in play just based on the width of the field. But yeah, the wind did play a part in that, but the small field also played a factor in that ball running out of bounds for a throw.
Coucher with the kick for Pinconning. Now they're back into the offensive zone for the second time in the game as Bay City Central's transition back to defense. They've got 5 back on that back line in a hurry.
Yeah, the wingers are Grew's on this side, on our near side, tracking back pretty well. On the far side, the winger was a little bit higher. Not quite tracking quite as deep, but that's okay because that's less dangerous. The girl on the ball is going to be the real danger. Backside, you don't want to leave backside runners. That's a good idea by the right back. Number 10, Sammy Olsen's looking to find Grew. She played it one time, right-footed, tried shaping the ball wide. Runs out of bounds, but that's a great idea. You're moving the ball quickly from line to line.
Ashton Morse with a nice inbound, and boy, look at right away. Willette tried to slide around, and Willette and Grew are both very, very visible early on in the offense for Central.
Yeah, it's much different than their activity this week is a lot different than it was last week. Last week they're doing a lot of running backwards. This week they're running forward, charging at the midfield and the back line of the Spartans.
Well, and Bay City Central this week, too, looks to have 15 girls, where last week they only had 11 healthy, and the extra 4 girls are invaluable to try and give a little blow back and forth to the girls for a minute.
You saw it a little bit last week, and on my way in, I spoke with Coach Jacobs, and I asked how they were doing, and he said, I'm doing great, but we ran out of steam a little bit last week, and you saw it, and the red card did not help. Obviously you go down a player, it's a numerical disadvantage for you, but it's just not only is it just a number, but it's also a momentum thing, and then it's a spiritual thing, and you just take the morale out of a team, and then they're just tired, and you're losing, you're tired, it's cold. It's not a great combination.
Now Cashman keeps that ball alive. Bay City Central now and into the offensive zone again. And Pinconning a little bit on their heels early on here in this game as Morse defensively tries to come back. Nice play defensively then by Dybus.
Good ball in from Weisenbach. Played a good ball into Grew inside the 18-yard box. Callahan has a go from 20 out. Ooh. Great save by the goalkeeper. Unfortunately, she's not able to have steady hands and bring it down, but you prevented a pretty dangerous shot with some venom behind it. Goalkeeper makes a good save, comes up, stretches high, knocks the ball down, and the Pinconning Spartans clear the ball out the end line for a Bay City Central corner kick.
It looked pretty innocent when she kicked it, but I'll tell you what, the goalie had to elevate to
picked
get
up
that.
some speed too. Again, the wind helped a little bit, put some velocity on that ball, and she made a good save, stretched high.
It was looking like it was headed for the top shelf.
She comes out, kind of bobbles the ball a little bit, but comes down with the ball and is able to clear as we have a punt going to the right hand side. That
you see the wind effects in a big way.
Just killed it right away. The ball, I'm wondering if you make adjustments and instead of, and it's difficult. If you are trying to play out of the back, Pinconning's defending a lot right now. You don't necessarily want to keep the ball down there. You want to clear your lines. But with this wind, you're almost better off rolling it out to one of your outside backs and having them try to play out, possess the ball at the field.
Or try a line drive something. It's going to get up in the air and it's going to go nowhere.
Yep. Yeah. Line drives are hard, they're difficult for goalkeepers to keep it down. When you punt naturally, the ball's going up. Yep. So you got to it's almost like as a volley, you come around the side of it and drive it straight. You get your foot out through the middle of the ball rather than underneath it. And, it's a little bit of a difficult technique for players, young players especially.
That's number 19, Cassidy Berry, trying to make things go, but very nicely done by 22.
Little 1-2 there by little 1-2 by Pinconning, looking to combine there. They caught Olsen tracking back, not finding the ball. A little bit unlucky for her. They played quickly and are able to possess. Willette's on the ball here. Plays through two players. Had a little split ball there into Grew, and she gives it away. 15 for Bay City Central. Tilly, the center back, won the ball there. And a little bit of miscommunication right there by the Wolves. That was the center mid and the left winger unable to get on the same page of who's going to pick up the ball. The ball runs innocently into a Pinconning defender.
Central, great idea there, though, just the communication of who's going to get it. Somebody from Central should have been in a position to retrieve that.
Yeah, and it's difficult for us to speculate, but it doesn't look like they're talking a ton down there right there on that play. Otherwise, you'd have someone step to the ball. Just kind of both thinking the other player's going to get it, and you learn that very early that doesn't work, and they found out that very quickly in this game.
Bay City Central trying to go back on the offense is number 13, Weisenbach.
Into Willette. Willette's in the 18-yard box, taking on the center back, beats her to the left, pulls it back on her right, takes a shot.
Wow.
Goalkeeper makes a pretty good save. You'd like to see Willette do a little bit better in the box there, try to place it a little bit more in a corner, but as she pulls it back on her right, it's difficult to either pull that all the way back to your left-hand side. You have to pull it really hard, or you have to shape it. So she did a good job keeping it on frame, but you'd like to pick a corner there if you're going to nitpick at the attempt on goal.
Well, and if you look at it, too, you don't know how much time you've actually got to set something up because you're pretty popular when you're 18 yards
You're in the
out.
18-yard box. People are coming after you, and they don't care what they got to do. They're a little she's got to get rid of that pretty quickly. She pulls it on her left. She kind of has like a V-pull type action, pulls it into her right, and even a little slight touch of the ball as you're going to strike that in goal is going to put you off. But she did a good job of there, dribbling into the box, creating a lot of chances for her team. She's done a very good job on the ball. She likes to roll the ball forward with the studs of her cleats. You've seen her do that a couple times now, a handful of times, as Mick Newsham throws a ball in the field that he shouldn't have. Nice job, Mick. We all love you, but nice job.
Yes.
Again, she stops the ball at the bottoms of her feet, and her change of pace has been really good. And she's looking, wow, that's a good pass right there. She does a really good job of stopping that defender, settling the defender, and as soon as that defender steps and her weight's placed on her heels, on her feet, and both feet, Gru plays a great ball in, and we're having a scramble in the box. Willette was on the end of it on the first time, and then Wazenbeck gets the second bite of the cherry, but neither go in for the Wolves as they're creating a lot of pressure right now on this back line of Pinconning.
Well, and I'll tell you, great save by the goalkeeper, too, because Central had the potential for 3 scoring opportunities there and came up empty.
Yeah, they're you got to keep, at that point as a goalkeeper, you're just trying to keep your team in the game. They're under a lot of pressure right now. And, you're only down 1-0, so, it feels like a lot because, you're watching this game and it feels like Central's in total control right now. But it's 1-0 and one counterattack. As we saw last week, counterattacks, they can happen in a split second and you're going to have to put one up on the board.
Raven Whelan trying to get something going for Pinconning. And again, Bay City Central is doing a great job of tilting the field, as they say, and playing in the offensive end. Now Pinconning with an opportunity to head down the side. Good defense, though, by Bay City Central in kicking that ball out of bounds. She looked like she would have been off and running if she gets by
Emma
that
Miller
defender.
was a half step behind and reaches her left foot in and pokes it away from the attacker, and that's a instrumental tackle for that back line for the Wolves.
Got a substitution for Bay City Central as Zoe's coming into the ball game for Central. Zoe Gale. And Central will inbound the ball. Now, again, explain when you go in with that side pass, the 2 things that have to happen.
So you have to have a throw that has to go completely behind your head, and both feet have to be planted on the ground, not bottoms of your feet. You can drag a toe. You'll see that a lot as players try to get momentum on those throws. As we have a throw-in on the near side for the Wolves. Sammy Olsen looks to take the throw, the right back for the Wolves. And you see it a lot. You see it a lot with young players. They don't either. They're trying to go quickly, and if someone comes really close, they'll just take it to the top of their head and go to throw it in. And sometimes you get away with one. Sometimes, most of the time, you don't.
So you really want to over-exaggerate it to not even give him a reason to ponder whether it's legit or not.
You just touch. I was always taught to touch your neck on the throw. Touch your neck on the throw, and if you have to throw it hard, wind up. But if you don't have to, just little touch over your head and it goes right to the player.
How about the hands of Tim Marciniak down there getting into play? He stops that ball and flips it right back to Mick Newsham. So, he's not just here being a spectator. He's here doing it all.
Combinations by the Wolves staff over here.
At halftime, it's going to be senior day, so Central's going to be honoring the seniors. And, of course, we'll get that on at the half as the free kick from the side.
Miller swings one in, and the Wolves get an attack, and it goes just wide. Goal kick. No one touches it for the Pinconning Spartans. That's a really dangerous ball in. Miller looks like she thinks it's still
So we got Van Horn,
corner.
We have got Day, and we have got Ferguson all coming in for Pinconning. And, when we talked to Coach Crevinas, he was talking about the fact that he's got a lot of kids, which is awesome. He's got a young group, but they're plenteous in numbers, so he should be able to keep fresh bodies on the field.
Yeah, I mean, especially when you have a young group, everything you do in a season is a learning tool. So, if you're when you're a young team, you're not looking at this year necessarily. I mean, you're going to take your lumps, and that's okay. You're going to develop as a team. You're going to develop a lot of character as a team, and you understand how to. You learn how to win. You're going to win a couple games. You may not win a ton of games, but you win a couple. You figure out what you have to do, what works for your team. As well, that's in charging in the 18-yard box, and the goalkeeper makes another big save with her kick save on her right-hand side. Callahan looks to win the ball in the midfield. She looks to turn, takes on the defender. Number 22 for the Spartans and wins the ball. Number 6 blocks the pass as it goes out for a throw.
Berger's been very actively number 22 for Pinconning early on in the match as that ball goes back out of bounds. And I'll tell you what, Gru and Willette seem like they've got 2 girls out there with a number 2 and a number 3 on them. They have been just omnipresent in this first half.
Yeah, it's hard for a young team to, you see those players, they've played at high levels throughout their lives. And you see it, their ability to take over a game. They're very comfortable. Gruz puts herself in a really tight spot right there, and he just glides by the defender pretty easily down the byline, and we're just looking at her just making a real big impact on this game. And now, unfortunate touch right there. She's looking to push the ball past the defender on the right-hand side, getting into the corner. Looks to swing one in there, but unfortunate she pushes a little bit long, out of bounds. Pinconning throw.
Well, and when you're down on that back line, too, almost as a defender, you want to have that left foot on this side right on that line. You've got to force them back to the middle of defensive help.
Yeah, the right there, you're in a tough spot because if you want help there, obviously, but if the center back or the holding mid is not close enough, you can't give her the inside because then she's driving at goal. I mean, that ideally you have a help defender there and you press her 2v1, but it's difficult when you have a talented player on the ball because again, Willette, a little cut back on her right to her left, swings one in the box, and Zoe Gale just a little bit behind that pass, a little off from Willette, but that's a dangerous pass. There's a reason soccer games are a lot of times low scoring, 2-1, 2-0, 1-0. You see a lot of those games. It's hard to score goals, and that's very dangerous, and that's exactly what you're looking for. It's just it didn't come off for a goal that time.
Well, they've set themselves up for offensive opportunities, and that certainly is saying something in this game because Garber gave them very little offensive opportunities the other night.
No, Garber smothered them last week, and Garber played a really, really good game top to bottom. I mean, they gave up the first goal and then responded with 3, I think it was, in a row.
Yep.
It might have even been 4. I don't remember off the top of my head, but it was 3-1 or 4-1, and then the Wolves got one back, and then again they closed it on another run of goal scoring for them. And again, that was just a really good game by them. They played really well, and they have talented players too, and they just were in another gear last week.
Hey, Natalie, can you check out who's going to get that ball down there? For the second time in the game, showing off that versatility, none other than Mr. Tim Marciniak, the man that wears many hats.
The man, the myth, the legend.
Look at him. Look how he picks that.
Look at that.
Thing up.
Uses his feet with that.
Man, we could send that down to ESPN, Colin. That one could be a top tenner.
The Wolves come in and a scramble in the box that they retain possession of. Willette again. Gru is on the end of this one. Looking, and we scored a goal by Weisenbach, put it away. Number 13 took it on her left, hammers one into the bottom right corner. Does a really good job for the Wolves to create a 2-0 advantage as we head in. How far are we into the game?
We are about 20 minutes in, halfway through the first half.
Yeah, so it's a good advantage to have at this point in the game. You're really cementing yourself into this game, finding a rhythm in the game. And the Wolves have done that right away, creating a lot of chances. Pinconning looks to get some footing right now as they have the kickoff. Look to link a couple passes. Callahan intercepts. And Berger wins the ball, and she's going to press Emma Miller. And she's going to be able to retain possession. Swings one in the middle. Nobody in green in that vicinity.
Jordan Nickel trying to make it happen.
A deep, it looks like a long pass, it looked like, from number 10, the center midfielder, who is Kayla Dibas. Played one in deep to the right. They're attacking left side. No one there for the Spartans.
Well, and again, when you see that pass go, you're trying to think of a lot of things right now, and you get that thing, you try and kick it a little extra hard because you're going into the wind, and then you get a little too much on it.
Just a little long, It's hard, with this. And balls in the air today are going to be very difficult. Playing a pass on the ground is going to be much more. It's going to be better for your team. First of all, it's typically easier for a player to control. You see it the whole way. The pattern never changes. The ball's going to end up on the ground. And then, now you're playing with the wind. It's just going to be a little bit easier on your team, on your teammates. You don't have to make them work as hard when the ball's on the ground. And that's something that a lot of teams are trying to implement, is playing passes on the ground as frequently as possible. But sometimes it's difficult. Sometimes you need to hit a pass like that, as the goalkeeper for Central bombs a punt into the midfield, makes it all the way to the half-field mark before it's brought down.
So the officials out on the field can go left, right, but if they go right up over the head, what do we have? Substitutes coming in?
When they go here, they'll hold the flag above their head, so they'll hold it, whatever handle they have, and they'll pull down on the bottom of the flag with their opposite hand to signify to the center official that there's going to be substitutions. When he's looking away, that's a big thing. Obviously, when he's looking at the near side where the substitutions are going to occur, it's a little bit easier for him to see that.
Again, Mr. Everything down there, Tim Marciniak. He doesn't bend over for that thing. He just flips it back forward onto the toe and then right up to the waist and picks it up. So I think he's
his
a
activity
closet
level's off
socket
the
man.
charts today. Just his work rate is unbelievable.
And you can tell when we give a guy like that a hard time, we think very highly of Mr. Tim Marciniak.
He was a great principal.
He certainly is very, very active and very visible and very, very kind and generous guy. You sometimes have to do your job, but the rest of the time he just loves kids, and that is very evident.
Yeah, very impactful on a lot of the students at Bay City Central. As we have the ball played in, center back for the Spartans clears. Gru's on the ball for the throw.
As Ferguson trying to make it happen defensively.
Throws it into a tough spot there into Willette, and she brings it down pretty well. Those two obviously love to play into each other. They're putting each other in difficult situations and doing it with no problem. And the player who's about to receive the ball in the difficult situation has no problem bringing it down. Just whatever, I'll play. And that's a great thing you want to have. You like to see that calm, collected attitude that they have on the ball. Just very composed.
As that ball is going to end up out of bounds again, Bay City Central will be inbounding it. Emma Miller.
Coach Newsham working up and down the sidelines, being a ball boy, looks like.
Yeah, they don't have the ball boys on the side in plenteous like they had the other night over at Garber.
No, we got a little guy on the far side who's dribbling a ball up and down the flank right now. Willette looks to turn in the box, unable to. Pinconning puts a lot of pressure as they put 2-3 defenders on her as she looks to turn.
Pretty well set up, Pinconning, in their defense right now, and they can turn two onto the ball. As
good win there by number 6. Morgan Ferguson plays the ball, wins the ball, off of Willette right there.
Berger coming down the field with Ferguson as they get that ball over midfield for only a handful of times here in this first half. We're down to about 15.
Callahan picked the ball up right there in the center midfield and turned forward, turned to her right-hand side, plays Grew in, and we find Weisenbach again, and she has a go at goal again, but that goes just wide as we have a goal kick there. And we had some fans down in front of us. It did look like a goal for a second until you see the ball run out. It was tough. Unlucky for her, you know.
Well, and unlucky for her with that northeast wind may have pushed that just outside the post.
Yeah, I didn't even think about the wind but she puts one in the air and it gets pushed a little bit there.
Pinconning's had to play a lot of defense as Van Horn goes back in the corner and kicks that ball out. It'll be side kick for Bay City Central.
You wonder if they start to wear down a little bit. Defending is, you see when you see a lot of players go 1v1, that's the most taxing part, fitness-wise, of the game. Going 1v1, running at people, defending in it, it's very hard. So you wonder how the fitness stays, how that they're able to maintain this fitness and work this work rate that they have right now as they charge up the far-hand side. A solo act over there by number 33, Jordan Nickel, driving up the field. And she earns a throw deep into Central Territory. Looks like 10 yards from the end line.
I'll tell you what, Jordan Nickel with a nice burst going down that far side.
Yeah, drove up the field. Must have ran 50, 60, 70 yards in there and create a little bit of an attack. Maybe create some energy here. It's maybe a little bit of spark for the Pinconning Spartans.
Nice throw into
Berger on the ball in the 18.
Berger has just been very active for Pinconning.
Yeah, she's done it all today.
As again, it'll be another side out.
Throw from the Spartans, gets into the box. Headed out by Callahan. Really powerful header. Drove that one out by Asha Callahan.
So Central will get possession back. And we have another substitute coming in for Bay City Central, Emily Shorkey. And coming out is number 7, Asha Callahan. So it's nice for both coaches to be able to push buttons and give kids a blow here halfway through this first half.
Yeah, we're starting to get to the end of the season, and not only are you trying to win this game, you're trying to prepare your team for the district. You're looking to create, find what works for your team, and today's a good day to do that. You're not playing in a conference game. And Willette has a beautiful turn and a great ball in. And not a little bit heavy of a touch in the box, and we'd like to bring that down a little bit closer to your body so you can have one step and you first touch, next step, and you hit it. But we were unable to. But Willette had a beautiful turn over her left-hand shoulder here as they entered the attacking third of the field. Drives in and plays a beautiful slot ball, cut it back into the box, and unable to put that one away. But
how about the two-man game, though, with Willette and Grew to even set that offensive opportunity up? They're definitely on the same page.
They look really good today. It's a lot. We saw two players connecting last week, and we're able to punish a defending team as Grew puts one over from about 8 yards away. She's on the right-hand side, looks to cut it back and skies it over the crossbar a little bit there. But yeah, we saw two players last week that really took over a game, and we're seeing something similar so far tonight. Now we don't know the final result, what's going to happen yet, but they look very, very good right now.
Well, and for the Pinconning area Spartans and Coach Al Krevinghaus.
Well, wow, another beautiful save. I'm sorry to cut you off.
No, that's
there.
Beautiful. And Central with another scoring opportunity, but the goalie has come up big.
They've had double-digit shots on goal today. This goalkeeper's playing very well as she's kept her team only down 2. We're only 2-0 still. So you just want to have a chance in the game. When you're put under a lot of pressure, just keep defending hard. You never know what might break. If you can get onto a counter, we've saw a nickel and Willette swings one in. I don't know if that was a cross or a shot. I'm sure gonna say a cross.
Of course.
Because it falls to her teammate on the backside. But a tough angle if that's a shot. You're just kind of hitting one, and as they say, you don't win the lotto if you don't play. But
I think she saw Abby Newsham on the backside and decided she'd try and slide one her way.
I wouldn't put it past her the way she's been performing today. Her vision today, you've seen her in the attacking third. Her vision's been very good, able to play passes in and connect with her attacking mates.
And if you don't make that kick, chances are that thing's going to slide out of bounds. You're going to lose possession anyway, so you don't have anything to lose.
There's nothing to lose there. The only thing, what's the worst thing that's going to happen? They're going to pick the ball up 15 yards away from their defending goal. Nothing, no harm, no foul in that, as our center official gets hit with a ball a little bit. And nothing hurt there as Pinconning retained possession and looked to clear. Grew's on the ball. Took a little too much time on the ball there. Nichols pressing very hard. And Grew is going to be called for the foul, holding inside. Not a bad foul. You're in a little bit of danger there, but she's got to be a little quicker on the ball when she picks it up there. She's stopping the ball too much. Willette was doing it earlier, but that's more. She's doing that in a little bit better of an area where she's able to push the ball behind the defender. Grew was unable to do that with Nichols' pressure right there.
Well, and you can tell she plays a lot of soccer too, because those two, Willette and Grew, are very well-conditioned athletes.
Yeah, they play. You see they are able to their calmness in there. Grew, that's not a bad foul. You don't like to give up fouls, but right there, she kind of knows she's in a bad spot there. She's going to tug on the arm. You commit the foul. You allow everybody to get behind the ball and organize, and it's okay.
Another great job by Central. Look at the kick, too, boy, with that breeze, which is, I think, really calmed down a little bit over the last 5 to 10 minutes.
Yeah, it's not as windy. I don't feel the breeze on my arms as much as I did earlier. Grew plays into Willette. Willette takes her on, looks to take it first time, blocked, and she's able to retain possession there. Great job by the Pinconning. Unfortunate for there. She did a really good job to win the ball off Willette and look to clear her lines, but hits one of her defenders and goes out of bounds for a corner kick.
So Bay City Central will be in a position where it's a little crowded inside that 18 box when they get the side kick.
Sometimes you'll see they haven't had much success on corners in terms of scoring goals. They've created opportunities, so I wonder sometimes if you could bring a player close, bring a Willette or Grew to the ball, player short, and let them dribble inside the box. As I say that, Abby Newsham gets on the end of a ball, and has an attempt at goal that's blocked.
She tilts her head back going, oh, that was going to be one of my better opportunities for the day.
One of my close ones. you always think about those ones after the game, the ones that didn't go in. You don't think about the ones that the ones where you weren't close. You always think about the ones that were just off.
Madison Brady into the game for Pinconning, as well as Aubrey Bishop, as they continue to shuffle fresh bodies. Coming off has been one of the better players for Pinconning today, Berger.
Pinconning looking to combine there, create a couple passes, but they're just unable to really get a good foot on the ball and create a rhythm of passing. Central's pressure is helping with that. They're putting a lot of pressure on the ball early, which is, going to cause, and just like in any sport, you get pressure put on you as you're looking to pass. It's a little bit more difficult. And as we talked about, the wind dies down, it comes right back naturally.
Oh, yes. As soon as you talk about it, it's inevitable that it's going to happen. But
Nickel's been active the last 10 minutes, really getting on the ball, creating turnovers. Tilly's dribbling backwards. You look, the goalkeeper, I think, should shade over to her left a little bit, be an option. Even if it's just a pass back to clear your lines, that's okay. But you got to look, your Tilly's under a lot of pressure right there. You got to move the ball a little bit quicker. I'm sure that's a coaching point that Coach Jacobs will get to. Just being aware that your spatial awareness, there's a lot of space behind you. Play into that space. Weisenbach dribbles up the field, up the center of the pitch. She's driving forward at the center backs, cuts it back right to left at the top of the 18. She's still dribbling, takes her on again, and has another attempt. And we have another goal for her as she puts it away. Fantastic take from her. She dribbled half the field, took on 3-4 defenders, and her persistence in that was phenomenal as she had a ball that didn't quite come off for her. She pressured the center back and is able to pick it up and put one away for the Wolves, and they extend their lead to 3-0.
Emily Van Horn tried on 3 different occasions to stop her, and Van Horn didn't give up. She kept going back, but I want to tell you what, lucky number 13 with a pair here in the first half.
Having herself quite the day.
So we're looking at about 5 minutes left in our first half. If
we're
count is accurate.
Yeah. Which, we weren't accurate last week, so who knows?
It's a neighborhood thing, and that's good enough for us.
And so we have to remember, since they'll be stopping the clocks on the goals, so, we'll probably be a minute off of that, just based on the stoppages. There shouldn't be any added time due to throw-ins or stoppage time like that, since there hasn't been a ton of delays. Gru's dribbling up the right-hand flank, stops the ball, settles the defender, finds Callahan in the 18, and she has a first-time go on her right. Ball was a little bit behind her. She stepped into it, let's turn her hips around right and brings it back right to left, but was unable to quite generate the power she's looking for or that is necessary. And we see the first roll from the goalkeeper today, and it actually was, unlucky that they weren't able to keep possession because the right back had some space, and they turned it over very quickly. But Central's doing a good job of pressing, and you see the lines are up. They're doing a little bit better job this week of their spacing between their lines. There's still a little bit. You correct this gap right here that we see in the center of the field between the back line and the center mids, but it's a lot better than it was last week. You saw big spaces of just green grass and just Garber players, and so that's it looks like something they've worked on this past week, is just making sure the team is more connected. They're more cohesive as they move up the field. And Nichols on the ball again. She plays a pass backwards, and number 8 for the Pinconning Spartans, Madison Brady driving, but Emma Miller's doing a really good job at outside back. As she wears the captain's band today. She's done a really good job of just tackling people as they're looking to push the ball past her. She's getting little touches on the ball. There she was able to win the ball outright and win a throw for her team.
So she might have been trying to gain a little real estate there as she came upfield. Maybe she truly didn't know, but it was a nice effort.
Yeah, they give you a vicinity. If if the ball's out here, I got about 3-5 yards that I can go forward. But you can't run up 20 yards. They'll send you back. Tried it a couple times. They don't.
You can't fault them for trying.
Referees don't. They don't appreciate it.
So this ball
Let's going to press the center back here, just charging forward, and she's able to win it off the center back. And I don't know. I think that's a goal kick. I think she pushed it out. But, oh, no, that's going to be a corner, it looks like. The AR on our side was a little bit indecisive. The center overruled them as they went they decided on a corner. Willette pressed really hard from the back. The center back did not play quick enough. You want to see the center back move the ball there, opposed to just dribbling backwards, and Willette punishes her for doing so.
Yep, and very nice of you to see the overrule by the center official, who has obviously got the final say. Maybe he had a little better looking angle at the play than the AR.
The AR looks to be a little bit behind the play, so it's a little difficult when you're at that angle and you're a little bit behind it. If you're going to make that call from that angle, you've got to be right on the line, and no fault of his. It's difficult to get there as she's pressing. You as a referee, you kind of are in this assumption thing. Oh, she's going to turn here, and no, she didn't. Willette kept pressing her, forcing her backwards. As we talk about Willette, she's back on the ball just inside the 18. Looks to play, slot one in, unable to. She's back on the ball, pushes the ball past the defender. She loves the cut from right to left, left to right. It doesn't matter to her. She's very comfortable on both foot. Just driving at a defender, slows them down, cuts them back one way. She's been excellent today.
Grace Floyd with a nice play defensively for Pinconning to keep them in the match as they're down 3-0. And for Pinconning's sake, they would certainly love to get the next goal.
Yeah, they need to find something that they can build on in the second half. Right now, you could build on your defensive work. You've done a good job.
Your goalie's been superb.
Been phenomenal today, and Central earns a throw as they're looking for Grew up the right-hand side. Number 14, Emily Shorkey, looked to play her in. It deflected off a Pinconning defender. Emma Miller on the throw here. Throws one in the box. Grew presses. Miller looks to swing one in, unable to, blocked. Nickel picks up the ball in midfield.
Nickel again is one of the players from Pinconning with a great burst with the ball, and she's back in the middle of the play again, looking to get a return pass offensively, just a little bit past her. And now Central, with only one defender back, has got to play a little back deep.
Nickel presses really hard and is able to win it. And Tilly right there with her wins it back. Ball drops inside in between the center back and the right back for the Wolves, but they clear the line.
And again, the wind, which is in Central's favor in the first half, they're going to have to change the mindset with those kicks in the second half.
Yeah, I noticed earlier Coach Jacobs and Coach Newsham wanted the goalkeeper to play a little more quickly than she did when she played a punt into the midfield. I wonder if it looks to me as if they're wanting her to play outside to an outside back on Miller. Miller's been good on the ball today. Look to play her and combine. You have Grew and Miller on the just right-hand side, and they both had good games. They've done well on the ball. So you wonder if in the second half that's a strategy they look to employ, play quickly to her, and they combine there as you're able to attack up this right-hand side. You've seen them attack up this side a lot for obvious reasons.
Grew with a nice job. She hesitated not for a moment to get that ball in, and she's going to get the ball back just outside the 18.
Pushes the ball past the outside back. Swing one's in front post. Goalkeeper collides with her center back, or it looks like, her center back, and is able to retain possession for the Spartans. Plays a punt up in the air, and that one traveled a little bit farther than they have today for the most part. She had a punt that has gone further, but that's been one of the better ones today. Cut through the wind a little bit more than normal. Callahan finds Weisenbach in the midfield, plays out wide to Grew. Grew battles right there. They're fighting for the ball there, and the Wolves are not going to retain possession, as they play it out of bounds.
Looks like we got a timeout, and we'll take a break and be back right after this on Bay County TV.
Oh, hey, you got one of those insurance apps too? You know how this thing works?
No, sorry. Yeah. Ben, please.
Wow, you can talk to your app? That's pretty cool.
Not an app, it's my agent.
In this moment,
no, I'm fine, thanks.
It's good to know you have a trusted, independent auto owner's insurance agent who's there when you need them.
Great. Man, I gotta get one of those.
Auto Owners Insurance.
Plum Harris Insurance Agency in Bay City is your local independent auto owners insurance agency. Back here for the second half, what we thought was a timeout was just into the first half, so we knew we were close, but we were not exactly certain. Colin Weber, Jeff Doan along with you. The first half flew right by. Central finds themselves up 3-0. Central will have a little change of pace to start the second half as they'll be playing into the wind for the second half.
Yeah, we'll see if it changes any strategies that they have. They've been doing a pretty good job of when they get into the attacking third, keeping the ball on the floor, able to play into feet and able to possess the ball high up the pitch. As we have a quick turnover by Sammy Olson, Pinconning will take the throw on the far side.
Now the center official you're pretty familiar with. He's been around the block a time or two, pretty well respected.
Yeah, he's a pretty solid ref. I know he's done some college games. He does a lot of club games. I don't know what his license is. I don't know how high he's gone in the license, but for the most part, he does a pretty good job. I mean, as an athlete, you never think they do a very good job. Every time he's ref, you're like, man, he made some bad calls. You forget about all the good ones that he made all game. So yeah, I know that I've complained to him of a handful, maybe once or twice, maybe 1 + 2, or 1 and 2 for 12. I don't know.
But it looks like the two side judges really look to confirm their suspicions with him before they make a move, and he is helping and pointing, so hopefully the direction he's pointing is the same direction that the AR is pointing.
Yeah, they've done a pretty good job today. There hasn't been anything that I've seen where I was like, oh, I don't know about that. There was some calls last week that I wasn't really confident about.
But that was two-man system.
But
too.
Yeah, it was. They were in a little bit. They were in a compromised position with only running a two-man crew. As we have a corner for the Wolves on the far side.
And when you've got a corner on the side, you are going to be able to kick that ball maybe towards the back post of the goal because it's going to hit the wind and it's going to come out in front.
You're going to be able to drive. I mean, so a lot of times you shape the ball so it swings back out. You'll hit it on the instep and the ball will guide that way naturally with a natural bend. But today you're almost going to want to drive it, and then we do right there, and the Wolves kind of didn't really attack the ball in the air, and that's gonna frustrate a lot of coaches and a lot of players right there. You have a a very pleasing attack there, and looks good, and you don't attack the ball. And Willette looks to Sombrero, her defender there, as she pops the ball up, looks to go over her head a little bit, didn't quite lift it enough. Willette's pressuring again. Her work rate is unreal today. Looks very good, and I can see why maybe you move her higher up the field, you create a lot more attacks. As Grew takes a touch with her right foot on the outside and drives in the box, but is one off of her, unable to complete the attack there and get a shot on goal.
Emily Van Horn doing a nice job shutting that down defensively.
Pinconning's done a pretty good job in terms of their organization in the back. They've been pretty solid in terms of the way that they're going to look to. They want to eliminate the space that the Wolves have in the box high up the field. And lately they gave up a couple goals. They're down 3-0, but they've done a good job as considering the amount of pressure they've been under the entirety of the game. They've done a pretty solid job.
And again, you're looking at a young squad, but the thing that impresses me about Pinconning, first and foremost, is they've got numbers, and there is no substitute for numbers. When you're young, if you keep that group together, they're going to be something special by the time they're upperclassmen.
Yeah, you want again, like we talked about earlier. Right now, this is a big learning tool. As number 11 drives and wins a corner for the Pinconning Spartans.
Raven Whelan.
She's been pretty active today. She's kind of threatened a couple times, pushing the ball in the wide areas. As we have a corner, and she's going to take the corner on the right-hand side. Low corner there as Berger looks to get on the end of it, but is cleared away by the Wolves. And wow, a lot of space for Grew on the right-hand side. She's going to look to push forward. I'm surprised she didn't go at the defender with pace, but she finds Wazen back in the middle. She plays it back out wide. Nothing really there. Grew didn't continue her run, but she's able to pick the ball up at the 18. Kind of a defensive mistake there. You're dribbling right into Grew's path. That's, it's almost like you think about it, you want to not dribble at those, couple players. There's a couple players you don't want to dribble at and lose the ball to them high up the field. And for me, she'd be one of them, but, maybe not.
I like the pass, though, that got the ball out to Gru as she had all that space.
Well, that's in the box and puts it away. And he says no goal, and I'm not really understanding.
Did somebody interfere with the goaltender?
I think he's going to call a foul on the goalkeeper unless it's a penalty. Yeah, it's going to be a free kick for Pinconning, and that's one of those things. I as a player, I absolutely despise that. Goalkeepers they get a little bit. They have a different rule book than everyone else, and they need to be protected a little bit. But at that point in that play, in my eyes, she kind of put herself in that, and she went down, and Willette pushes the ball underneath her and gets the second poke, and puts the ball in the net, and that's unfortunate right there. That's a.
And again, you like to be in a situation where your officials are mic'd up so that you can actually hear what their calls are and what they're doing, but
we don't have that luxury.
Not here. Our hearing is not quite that good. Only when our kids are talking do we think we hear real well.
Gru pushes it past the outside back, and she's driving forward at the outside the 18, swings one in, and very dangerous passes. You look to find that runner. Number 5 was running in for the Wolves. I do not know how to pronounce that. But she's in the back. She's on the back post looking to get on. Grodelution. That's right. He's super easy. I don't know how I missed that one. What are you doing? But yeah, she's running inside, and she's in a good spot, and the wind probably plays a little bit. It's difficult to navigate with a strong wind playing a ball in the air. But Gru's done a good job on the right hand side, swinging crosses in. The Wolves have done a pretty good job of that this afternoon. They've been getting balls into the box at dangerous areas. Willette's on the ball right here, and she's on sides again, driving inside the box, and she puts it away to extend the Wolves' lead to 4-0. That was a really, really good combination between Weisenbach and Willette as they push the ball forward into another goal-scoring, not opportunity, but they convert this opportunity this time.
It's Central again on the offensive end. They just make that next pass that puts them in a position which they've done pretty much all match.
Yeah, it was something we talked about that we raved about last week with Garber, was the unselfishness that they have. And when you get a good rhythm in the game, you find that it's easy to find that extra pass when you're in a good rhythm, because everybody, when you're playing well, when your team's playing well, most of the players are playing well, and you trust them, and you're able to. And they're doing a really good job today. They bounced back really well from last week. The Wolves earn a throw in front of the Pinconning bench here.
As Pinconning has got 2 wins and 2 ties on the year, and they've got about 4 or 5 seniors on their club, but when you've got that many underclassmen and you can have some success at this level, that's just good building tools.
Yeah, and their district is pretty manageable, as Willette goes to goal from 18 yards out and puts it a little bit over.
She should
and the
get
field
3.
goal is good.
Yeah.
And Callahan noticed that as well, as she threw up the "It's good" sign as she was a football official, other type of football.
Yes.
But yeah, their district's pretty manageable. They're not. There's no Midlands. There's some solid teams in there that are small schools, but with a young team, you're playing bigger schools. You're playing Bay City Central. I don't know if they play John Glenn, but if they do, that's another one. And Garber's got a talented team this year, so
Garber's got a chance to make some noise.
Yeah, they do. They just gotta find some. I've heard of some that they're a little bit inconsistent, but they looked really good on Friday. And you have that type of performance in a district game, you're gonna give yourself a shot. And Willette puts another one away, a scramble in the box, as Gru dribbled up the far side and got on the byline and was able to convert and puts one in, and goalkeeper's unable to hold on to it.
Is Bay City Central finding themselves up right now just in comfortable fashion, 5-0. As they've got one for the thumb.
Really good spot by Willette right there. Just being patient in the box. Not necessarily going to ball support. Just staying patient in her lane there. Able to find, you sit at the 6-yard line or 6-yard box and put one in, and you can't. That's stuff that you play. The more you play, the more you're able to find those areas. As Grew dribbles and touches one inside, Weisenbach again gets the ball, plays it back out to Grew. Grew takes on her right, pushes the ball up the right-hand side to her right, swings one in. Goalkeeper holds on to this one. Again, they've given up 5 goals, but the goalkeeper's been very solid. She's going to punt, and this one carries. Olsen, it's over her head. Cassidy is going to come over here and is unable to hold on to that, to retain possession for the Wolves as she pushes the ball out of bounds.
Boy, it is awful nice, though, as a goalkeeper, when you can get that thing out to the midfield stripe in the air with that nice breeze behind you.
Yeah, you're able to push higher. You get the team, you can move your team up higher. You give yourself a little breathing room defensively. So if you make a mistake, it's not necessarily going to be super vital. And just not a very accurate pass by Pinconning. They haven't been very accurate on the ball today as they've been looking to combine. Grew 1-2 with Weisenbach as she picks it up, dribbles inside the 18, has a goal. Goalkeeper blocks it from her right, ball deflects down to her left-hand side, and she's able to fall and cover on it.
I like the fact that you use your body as a defender to put your body between the offensive player and yourself before you cradle that ball.
Yeah, she did a good job there of, you're protecting yourself because, if you come, you don't want to, I'd much rather get hit in the back than the face.
Yes.
But, yeah, she does a good job, and it's difficult for a player to get around you there. They have to fully go around you, and unless you come at the ball with, face forward, there's nothing protecting. I mean, not only are you not protected, but the ball is very open for the attacker to get on the end of.
Look at Mick Newsham down there with a nice little 2-hand overheader.
Yeah, we didn't throw that one on the field, so that's nice.
He's getting better.
Yeah, we learned from the mistakes we made. He's a coach, so he's doing the same thing as the players are.
Another one of those fun spirits of the game.
Oh, yeah, he was a very, I remember him being very animated in my club career as he coached my roommate. Very animated guy on the sidelines. Passionate guy.
Well,
you always hear about that, from players of his, that they notice, what some players love it, some players don't, but they love how animated and invested he is as Grew drives forward and puts one away for her second. We have 3 girls for the Wolves that are on doubles today, as they've netted 2 on the day.
I don't know who you get to pick for the player of the game when you've got 3 girls with deuces.
I'm going to go so far with Willette because of the assists. But Grew's making a name for herself. She was players we noted last week, both of those 2. And then Weisenbach's had herself a game too. And Willette's had a lot of other opportunities that were not converted. And that's not a slight on her performance. It's just that's another reason that she's my pick for the player of the game thus far, just based on her activity level. You notice her when she's playing, when she's on the ball, you recognize it, as does most of the spectators. They know. They see, when a player like that gets on the ball, it's danger for the opponent.
Now, is there a magic number where the match ends, or is there no such thing?
Yeah, there's a mercy rule that's at 8 for the high school level. Typically it's implemented in varsity games. I know in JV games the option is given. Do you want to continue? Because a lot of times if you're playing a JV game, a lot of times the varsity game's going on as well. So the varsity game may be more competitive, may not be. But they're still playing.
The bus is not leaving.
Bus isn't leaving. Why stop playing?
Get your reps in.
Yeah, a lot of you want your teams to be competitive at the junior varsity level, but at the same time it's about development, player development. They need to learn, and taking lumps like that isn't necessarily a bad thing. And Pinconning, like we said, they're a young team. They're going to grow from this. As Cassidy Berry picks up an interception, Nickel looked to play up the wide area and was picked off. And number 9 for the Wolves is on the ball.
And that is a late addition to the roster, and we unfortunately don't have a name for her.
Zoe Gale on the ball here. Oh, that is not Zoe Gale. That is, I thought it was 8, but it's 6. It was we heard her senior night. She's a foreign exchange student for the Wolves. A little bit of physicality right there between Sammy Olsen and Raven Whelan. Tempers flaring a little bit. Rex is going to have a little conversation with him, say, hey, calm down a little bit. It's fine. Everything's okay. It's a beautiful day. We're playing soccer. Don't worry about it.
I can't believe they're in short sleeves out there. They got to be moving just enough to hopefully stay warm, too, as we've gone to the vehicle for the extra layer.
Jacket. Helping me out is we have a yellow card as Callahan is fouled by number 6, Morgan Ferguson. She's going to take a yellow and have to sit down for a minute.
But a yellow does not force you to be a person short.
Nope. Only a red. She's got to come off. I don't know. I honestly wish I could tell you the rule on that. I know it used to be 10 minutes. Now it might just be a cooling off period. You have to go off. I know they implement that in certain leagues around the state that you commit a foul and there's a yellow card. You go off until the next substitution. I don't know the high school rules. I wish I did. That'd be helpful right now, but
Emma Miller with a big kick, and she puts that behind the defense, and a nice job by the Pinconning goalkeeper.
Little long, you look to play in that, she hits that ball pretty hard, so you almost want to play a little bit more in the wide area on the opposite side of the field on the right-hand side. I'm surprised we didn't have a handball right there. Looked like Sammy Olsen hit her arm, came down, and she was able to retain possession in the ball. If it's considered handling. It doesn't necessarily need to be the hand. It can be the arm, basically from the elbow down. I mean, unless you're reaching out and you're hitting it with your bicep or tricep, that will be a handball as well.
As we appear to be about halfway through the second half, Central on top, 6-0. Jeff Doan and Colin Weber along with you, as it's just a joy to be able to get a little love for the girls that work hard all year long and get a little TV time for the soccer program.
Yeah, it's big for them. I don't think that was around when I played at Bay City Central, and I don't remember when coming to games and ever seeing them, so that's pretty cool for these players. As Nickel drives forward, Tilly's on her back, but Jordan Nickel pushes it past her. Goalkeeper comes out and makes a fantastic save.
And I'm going to tell you what, number 33, Jordan Nichols, says that was our first great offensive opportunity, and the goalie played great angle and did a nice sliding kick save.
Came out and really made herself big in that spot. Doing a good job for her team, keeping the shutout, keeping the clean sheet for herself. That's a goal that a lot of goalkeepers have, and they want to have a X amount of numbers of clean sheets on the year, and keeping this one intact thus far.
As Central will get it in, again, trying to gain a little advantage, a little real estate. The AR says, nope, we'll be back here by me. I want you to come back and visit me for a second. As that ball kicked out of bounds, again, it's one of the exchange students, and unfortunately we did not get that name added to the roster. We will certainly try and check on it.
You like to see right now, Pinconning still competing. That's a big thing when you have a young program, is developing a culture of competition. That's the way your teams are going to get better, is when they're competing hard all the time. We have a foul committed right there, and just not a bad foul, just a competition foul. You're looking to create a little bit of an advantage with your hands and push, and the Wolves will take the free kick just inside their attacking half.
Ready to kick it, Emma Miller.
She's had a pretty good game today, doing well on both ends of the field. She's attacking pretty well when she gets on the ball. She's been using the ball a bit. And Callahan's on the end of Miller's pass there, and a great tackle by Berger. Makes an excellent tackle right there for
because that was almost a sure goal.
Yeah, Callahan is in a good spot. The ball's dropping for her. It looks like it's holding up just long enough for her to put a good volley through it. And Berger makes a really good tackle. Miller loses possession right there, and that was kind of careless of her. And Mick Newsom's calling for offsides, but that was not as Whelan charges up the right-hand side and is unable to get on the end of it.
Just ran out of real estate. It was close to an offside. It was not a clear cut, but, you know, the opposing coach will always plant that seed.
Always, yeah,
because
that's offsides. It had to be offsides because my team, they're in behind my team. There's no way they'd have been in behind my team if it wasn't off. If they were not offsides.
It's just a great game from within the game. But you like to see your coaches working hard for your girls too.
They, you know, players appreciate that. You work hard for them, they're probably going to work hard for you as well. Olsen's pressuring on the ball here. Abel, really good tackle as number 14, Madison Bellotti, looks to turn on the ball there. Olsen did a good job of winning the ball. And we have another shot on goal by number 5. Grodelution puts one away. Did a really good job of just pushing the ball up the center of the pitch and putting another one away as the Wolves extend their lead to 7.
So Cassie Grodelution, she showed a nice burst, splitting 2 defenders and putting it in the back of the net, 7-0.
Wolves are having themselves a game on both ends of the field. They're doing really well in terms of limiting opportunities. There's only been one real opportunity for the Spartans. Nickel was in on goal. Goalkeeper made a great save. Besides that, the defending has been superb for the most part. And they're doing a good job of creating a lot of opportunities. And with those opportunities, they found the back of the net 7 different times.
4 different players with 7 goals, 3 of them with a pair apiece, and then Grodelution with the latest.
Callahan picks the ball up in midfield, looks to play forward to Rodriguez. Newsham pressing the ball here, and we're going to have a throw for the Wolves here on the left-hand side. Number 13, Abby Wazenbach coming up. As she's had a pair, they moved her back to left back.
That's the other advantage that Larry Jacobs has, is he can kind of switch some people around and try people in different positions that they're not used to, because you never know when somebody's got to step up and step in.
Yeah, you know, you want to have players, you know, the best players are usually well-rounded players. As we move Willette back as well. That was her position last week. She's playing at right back as she was a center back last week. Callahan's on the ball, finds Grodelution again, back into Callahan, 1-2 there. Good little combination play. You like to see that pass, that second pass in behind a defender rather opposed to in front of them, where they're a little bit more able to have a read on the ball instead of having their back to them, and they're able to see the ball and be able to get a little poke on it, whatever it may be, how they're going to defend it.
Grace Floyd will look to check in at the next opportunity for Pinconning. What do we got here?
Goalkeeper's going to get on the ball for a free kick here, so we'll see Megan Grew drop deep into their own defending half. Has a shot at goal. Good hands by the Pinconning goalkeeper. Surprised that they're not playing a little more quickly, trying to break high up the pitch, as the goalkeeper still has not made it back to her box as she gets into her box now.
Boy, that's an 80-yard sprint, too.
Yeah, she had to go. She had to get moving. And they play one deep. Goalkeeper goes over, retrieves the ball. Nickel gives a half press and lets her know she's in the vicinity.
Yep.
Picks the ball up, and we'll see what they do out of the back here. She's going to punt. Nice, drives one. That's a pretty good one because it drives through the wind, cuts through the wind a little bit. Grodelution looks to tackle. However, Bellotti is able to pick up the ball.
As we're down to about 15 minutes left in the game, unless it gets to that 8-goal differential, and then it still may be up to the coaches. I don't know if it's an automatic or not.
I think at the varsity level it is. It typically is, but you never know with it being senior night, however they decide what they're going to do. It could be an agreement by both teams, by both coaches.
I mean, you don't know that it would be an agreement ahead of time, because as a coach, you're not really ever assuming that you're going to be down 8 goals.
Right, yeah. It's never something you're like, yeah, I hope we're down 8. That'd be great. I mean, and you're hoping you're up 8 a lot.
Correct. As Back defensively is Hannah Floyd. And it's hard to see that sideline on the other end of the field, but apparently the ball's still playable.
Ball stays in. Callahan swings one in the box. Goalkeeper comes and collects. They're doing a lot of crossing from the right-hand side, which it makes sense primarily because the players are typically right-footed. So a lot of times if you're playing as an inverted player, you're playing left hand on the left-hand side as a right-footed player, you're not cutting into cross, you're cutting into shoot. And as we see the ball skip into the box, goalkeeper collects for the Wolves. Willette has a lot of space over there on the right. I'm surprised we're not playing into her feet and building. Drops in front of her, number 8 for
Brady.
Madison Brady for the Pinconning Spartans picks it up, but Willette retrieves and loses the ball almost immediately to Bellotti. She's been active this second half, doing a good job in terms of just being around the ball, being productive on the ball, winning, making important tackles for her team.
Sammy Olson, nice job of keeping the proper angle to keep the Pinconning area Spartan ladies from getting to the goal. They'll get a side kick.
So we'll have this corner on the left-hand side. Wind coming. Look, it will be interesting to see what they do here. If they drive one into the wind, it's going to carry. So you can play it a little deeper than you normally do because it's going to get pushed back into the box. She drives one to about the 12-yard spot. Nickel was on the end of it, unable to. We got a scramble in the box. Goalkeeper comes out and is able to collect. No damage done.
That's a tough play for a goalkeeper because you got to pretty much hold your ground because that thing is just like a pinball machine in there going off bodies.
Yeah, you step up. A ball may take a deflection that you're unprepared for. I mean, you see pro keepers, they'll do some stuff where they take shots at, so balls skip, they'll put water bottles in front of them, and they'll train that way, just to try to get a read on bodies and little deflections and reaction time stuff. But she did a good job there, holding her ground, being patient. We have subs here for the Wolves. Number 15, Jenna Tilley, going to come in for number 12, Emma Miller.
I like the fact, though, that Abigail runs over quick and wants to get that ball in. You take 2-3 seconds and you allow the defense to set up.
Zoe Gale in the box, driving forward, shoulder challenge there. Clean play there, like that. That's something that I like watching. Yeah, it's good. You have contact. It's contact sport. But it's good. It's a good battle. It's an individual battle. You're looking to see if you can beat the player 1v1, create an opportunity for your team, and defensively you need to hold strong to prevent an opportunity.
As Pinconning will get a wind-aided kick. And that comes out to number 33, Jordan Nickel. Trying to come down the field. Central has it pretty well defended, though. Nice job that time by Grew, just kicking it back to the goalkeeper and sending it back out onto the offense.
Smart play there, able to keep possession within the team. You can play backwards to play forward. It's okay. It's not against the rules. You don't see it. I don't think you see it enough right now. I think that's something that both teams could work on, is spatial awareness, knowing when to go backwards, when to go forward. You don't need to go forward all the time. But they're being a little, you see it a lot. Teams are direct. And that's okay. It's a style that they're looking for. And we're in right here.
Boy, Abby Newsham was just begging for that ball.
Number 4, Rodriguez pushes forward, presses the ball here. Is able to win the ball back after losing it. Plays inside. Pinconning picks up. Bellotti won the ball there. Jenna Tilley on the ball for the Wolves. She plays it up the left-hand side out of bounds. Bellotti's been pretty involved the second half. Mentioned her name a lot.
As Pinconning tries to mount some offense late in this match. 7-0, Bay City Central on top. Jeff Doan and Colin Weber. As it's a pleasure to bring you girls soccer, Central in white, Pinconning in green. As Central has had their way and they kicked that thing all the way back to the goalie.
Well, that plays a long pass. It looks like this is being instructed by the coaching staff because that was a 40-yard pass she played backwards. And we have contact over there. Hard contact, it looked like.
It was intended maybe to be slight contact, but it was a little bit more than that.
Yeah, we almost looked like we were on the gridiron over here.
Well, this is
But a good tackle.
back in my day as it was the gridiron back at Thomas Lincoln Handy.
Willette misplays that in the air, and Nichols on the end. Tilly's driving forward, and Willette's speed allows her to come back and get back into the play, but Jordan Nichols stays on the attack and pushes one just wide. She looks a little frustrated with that attempt, as she thought she could have done better. But Willette, you see the closing speed. Nickel again being very. She's a danger up top. You see her talent.
She looks like the best offensive threat that Pinconning has had on the field this afternoon.
I would agree with that. I think that she's been very involved in the attack, and she's doing a lot of it by herself right now. I mean, Berger's been she was pretty active earlier in the game. She was deeper on the field the second half, and then Bellotti and Wieland were players that we've talked about.
Central trying to come up the field right now.
Rodriguez looks to get the ball on the left-hand side, and she looked to play on the outside of her foot inside to Newsham, but a good defensive play by the Spartans that are able to push that ball out of bounds and for a throw for the Wolves here. And there, something with Central today that I've noticed there's not a lot of movement off the throw. They're pretty stagnant in that area, so you see possession lost a lot off their throw. You got to have a little more movement to lose your defender. And Coach Jacobs talking about that right now down here with Rodriguez, talking about a little bit of movement that he wants out of their, on the throws.
You got to love the fact that they just keep coaching. Doesn't matter what the score is. You just want to see improvement on your girls. You want them to play hard and you want them to have fun, but you want them to be successful.
Yeah, there's always, you talk about it a lot. As a staff, you hear them talk about a lot. There's always room for us to improve. You hear it a lot from a lot of different coaches that they always are looking, and coaches are coaches. They're always going to coach. You see it at all levels that they're always looking for little things that they're trying to implement, whether it's a new idea, whether it's a new tactic, whatever it may be. They're still working on that, and you'll see them implement new things even late in the season that you're like, wow, it seems pretty late to try to be doing new choreographed attacking patterns, defensive schemes, whatever it is. But these players, a lot of them are going to return. They've essentially got a couple seniors, not a ton.
As we're down to about 5 or 6 minutes unofficially left in this match. Central again up 7-0, and if Central scores before that 6-minute mark is left, then there's a potential for a game-ending goal.
Been a fun game today. There's been a lot of scoring opportunities, so we're gonna see. It's fun to see that. You like to see players, and there's been some skill involved. There's been a lot of skill. Where you're seeing a lot of individual technique, and good challenge by number 19 over there, Shayla Day, on Megan Grew, and Grew pushes it out of bounds. Pinconning will have possession.
Again, somewhere around 5 minutes left. Bay City Central in white, Pinconning in green. Jeff Doan along with Colin Weber. Glad to have you along here on Bay County TV. Pinconning hoping to mount at least one last drive to see if they can tickle the back of the net.
Willette back on the ball, finds space into Cassidy Berry. Number 19 for the Wolves, pushes the ball forward, moving from the center of the field to the look to go left, but they lose possession there.
I'd like to see that backward pass to move forward.
Central's doing a really good job later in this half of moving the ball. I mean, right there, we're a little too long on the ball. Grelushin finds Berry.
As Newsham with an opportunity.
Has a shot blocked by the center back. I don't know that was the best play the center back could have made. Grace Floyd, the goalkeeper's in a good position there. You almost want to let her get it so then you can retain possession, because Central's now on a corner, and as they haven't scored off a corner, but they've created a lot of opportunities this afternoon. right here.
Are you making a prediction off this corner kick?
No.
Okay.
No, I'm not. No, we've seen, but they played in good balls. I wouldn't be shocked, but I'm not going to make a prediction.
All right. As that ball just went by is Zoe Gale, and is near that end line as Pinconning will kick it back near the midline.
Tilly has a ton of space right here at midfield. She plays a little more quickly than I thought she would. I thought she'd take a little more time and space, move forward, look to play a more want to pass through lines. That looked like an illegal throw to me, but it was not awarded by the assistant referee on our near side. I didn't think she went all the way over her head, but honestly, that to me, that rule isn't my favorite. It's the game of your feet, not your hands. But teach their own, I suppose.
Grotolution with a nice burst and nice defense that time once again by Grace Floyd. Central with a side throw.
They shifted the defensive back line for Central shifted over. The right back is playing right in the middle of the field, almost on the where you would start the restart at the center of the field. Gru's on the ball and playing center back right now. Plays one in, finds the outside back for Pinconning. Grotolution brings it down, heavy touch a little bit, but is able to control, drive past, pushes the ball with some skill into the box, looks to take a shot. Didn't quite get that power she was looking for on that one. But
got that just a little bit deep into her stride with the left foot and really couldn't get a lot on it.
Yeah, you want that set just in front of your hips a little bit so you can drive your hips through it. Yeah, she kind of pokes it with her toe opposed to driving her laces through it. Gru picks up the ball, dribbles to the left, finds Weisenbach right here as they lose the ball.
Megan Coucher with a nice play defensively again. But
Gru on the ball again.
Gru is around the ball no matter where she is on the field.
Yeah, they find her a lot in the team. Her and Willette find the ball a lot to their feet from their teammates. Their teammates trust them a lot, as they should. They've been producing for this team this year. McNewsham with a throw, must have went 30 yards. The shoulder strength he has is just ridiculous on that throw.
Well, and I understand back in the day he was quite the ferocious rugby guy as well.
I've heard those stories that he's mentioned them to me once or twice. Always interested in them though. Always.
Oh yes.
He always tells me about his soccer days too.
I would imagine that CMU club that they had for rugby was entertaining,
to say the least.
As Pinconning coming down here in the final couple of minutes of this match. Bay City Central on top 7-0 over the Pinconning area Spartans on a windswept but sunny day at Bay City Handy.
Yeah, you see right there another throw that is turned over. It's just there's not very many options for the player throwing the ball in. There's not a lot of movement, and if there is, it's a pretty predictable running behind. The defender steps in front of the pass. Is able to win it pretty easily without being under a ton of pressure afterwards. So that's something you look for these teams to look to. I don't think it's the biggest thing that they need to improve upon, but it's something that, it's a little thing that you can just talk to the team about. I don't think you spend a lot of time in training working on that, but...
Well, and I think one of the things they truly appreciate about Bay County TV coming out here is they really don't get, as there's a great save that time by Weisenbach, is they don't get an opportunity to watch themselves. Coach can talk about this and that, but seeing it is a whole lot better than just talking about it, and then it's easier to understand what they're doing.
Yeah, film is unbelievable. You always watch. I watched film a lot. I still watch film a lot of games and matches and whatever it is. I'm a big believer in that you need to see things over and over again to, you learn tendencies of not only yourself but your team. As an individual, you can find tendencies of what you're doing. Some players are on the ball too long, not playing quickly enough. Others play quickly and don't take space, but you want to recognize what could I have done differently in that situation. As we had Rodriguez pick up the ball right here.
And a major gust of wind.
Unable to really retain or get quality possession there as the ball bounced around on her in between her feet, and Willette sends one long. Newsham looks to chase and gives up on that pretty quickly when she realizes that's going out of bounds.
As they're looking, yep, they've got an extra ball here. Somebody will slide down to the side. Tim Marciniak has taken all of his turns already today. As that ball goes out, and it'll go back over to Bay City Central. Get down in the final moments.
We had Nick Newsham climbing in between the stands over here. Wish we could have got a shot of that.
Yep, still got that flexibility.
That'd been great. Have him crawling through the stands, coming up, peeking out.
Nice job that time by Willette. Settles it down and
finds
sets it
Miller.
in the offense.
Miller's pushing high up the field right here, driving into the box on the right-hand side. Swings one across, goes just behind the goal. Dangerous. Looked from my angle like it could have been the final goal of the game, but just pushes it a little bit behind the front post. Goes out for a goal kick.
Our referee has looked at his watch twice in the last 10 seconds, knowing that we must be getting close.
Callahan subs for Miller.
And then Shorkey comes off.
Gonna have a re-kick there. Ball was played in a little bit too quickly for the referee's liking.
He says we're not going to shave time off here. We're going to do it right. You got to love that.
He whistles for the restart. Pinconning plays the goal kick up the center of the field and just over Newsham's head. Newsham received the ball on a pass, drives forward, looks to have a go at goal, and pushed just wide.
Oh, just a fingertip to push that wide of the post. And Abby Newsham would have been on the scoreboard for the day. It looked like an innocent enough kick, but I'll tell you what, that's a big wide goal to try and cover for a goalie.
And goalkeeper got caught a little bit out of position there. Wasn't covering, wasn't stepping out, so it gives the ball a lot of time to creep towards that post, and Newsham almost finds herself on the score sheet. Ball swung in off the crossbar. Grew plays one in. Plays one off the bar, goes out for a throw for the Spartans here.
Boy, that thing just about hooked in from that corner kick.
Central plays at him off their own player. Tilly comes and collects. Turns to the right. Plays wide. A little bit disorganized right now for Central in the back as Pinconning charges forward.
Look at Tilly with a great angle defensively. Doesn't have to make a play. They just squeeze the field.
Did a good job really condensing the space for the attacking player there. And even she got a little space where she turned back and pushed the ball inward to the center of the field. And nothing for no attacking teammates were combining with her up high up the field.
Rodriguez has the ball go out of bounds.
And that's full time.
That looks like the game. So we'll be back in just a second with the post-game show right here on Bay County TV.
In 1916, Warren Miller chose auto owner's insurance for his new car. In 1947, his son made the same choice, as did his grandson in 1979. And today, his great-granddaughter did the same. As we reflect on where we've been, we're grateful to our independent agents and to those who put their trust in us, and to the generations who will. Auto Owners Insurance.
Plum Harris Insurance Agency in Bay City is your local independent auto owners insurance agency. All right. Back here with our post-game show on Bay County TV, and victorious Coach Jacob. A very, very nice victory tonight. Very unselfish play for your girls.
Thank you. Yes, it felt very good. It was nice to get a victory today, and for our seniors, our last home game of the season. I was really pleased with the way we shared the ball. That's something we've been working on all season, and when you're playing in the Saginaw Valley League, it's a tough thing to do. It's a tough thing to be able to do because of the pressure, because of just the level of competition. So they really had a good opportunity today to work on sharing the ball, to work on moving to space, and it just as a nice way to be able to attack and get the feeling instead of always playing on their heels, they could play forward, and it was good to see. I was very happy with that.
You made a couple, it looked like tactical adjustments with players. You moved them into different positions today. Was that a plan going into today?
Yes, it really was. I wanted to see, we still got 3 games left plus our district.
Come up there.
And so, with the 3 games, we play Heritage.
Okay.
We have Mount Pleasant in the district. And I wanted to see if we could get more of an attack, especially with Megan Grew. Megan Grew is such a quality player. And, I've had her in the middle because that's where you need to set your good players and then work with the outside. But I really thought, and I talked to Megan about it last night, that I'd like to see what would happen if we could keep Olivia in the middle, move Megan outside, and see if we could widen out the attack. And by widening the attack, it would open up the defense and give us more opportunities, which is what happened.
She played up the right a lot in the first half, and we talked about the ability to, you guys were swinging balls into the box from the right-hand side. Was with her playing wide, was that something that we looked to do?
That was exactly it. We were looking for her to be able to swing the ball into the middle, because our freshman, Abby Weisenbach, and we've got 3 freshmen that were in the middle.
They were sensational
Cassie
today.
Grotelushin and Emily Shorkey, Abby Weisenbach, and we were trying to get, if we could get them involved in play, along with Olivia Willett. I didn't know how they could stop us. I was really, that's what I wanted to try to force, and I wanted to try to work on with the girls.
3 girls with 2 goals apiece. Nice afternoon. Again, when we talked many times during the game, just the fact that extra pass for a higher percentage shot really was visible today.
And that's what we were trying to focus on, making that extra pass. Too many times, especially when you don't have many opportunities in some of our games earlier this season, you're thinking, I just got to shoot. But here, they could see the field. And the game, it wasn't that it was a slow game, but the game slowed down for them so that they could see the extra pass and they could make the extra pass. And to me, that was just a thing of beauty. Anytime we can have unselfish play like that, it warms my heart.
Willette had one on the, I believe it was the second or third goal. It was the third goal. She was coming up the right-hand side, cut one back, split 2 defenders for Weisenbach to finish.
Yeah.
And I was honestly, I was watching, I was like, wow. And I talked about that. That was a really good.
She's
that was
amazing.
really good.
She's amazing. Her foot skills, her ability to see the field, just absolutely amazing. And I loved how she trusted Abby that she could leave the ball to her. So all in all, it was a great final home game here for the season.
I got to say, extremely well coached. Your girls responded very well to great coaching.
Well, Jeff, I love you.
Hey, tell Nick not to throw balls on the field while we have action going.
I know. I've got.
He learned though as we went on throughout the day.
I know. Well,
the old dog can get new tricks.
When I coached him back when he was a U10, the same kind of thing happened. He was just a crazy man.
Throwing stuff on the field.
He was doing all
throwing
kinds
temper tantrums.
Call me. We'll talk. No, it was great. So it's a great day.
Very impressed with the effort from your girls today, and very well-deserved victory, Coach. Thanks for being part of our post-game show.
Who do you guys have for
Thank
district?
You. My pleasure.
When is district?
We have Mount Pleasant on May 29th. We're at Mount Pleasant, so that's our district game. 3 games next week. We have Heritage, and then we go to Hemlock, and then we finish up the season at Standish. And then our district is at Mount Pleasant.
So all 3 games are looking to recruit, ready to get going.
We know that the Valley is not.
Valley's tough.
Yeah, the Valley's tough. And so our goal is to get better every game. Don't quit, get better, and then see what we can do at districts. And so we're going to give it a shot. We'll give it our best.
All right.
Wrap it up in style, Coach. Always a pleasure to spend a minute with you.
Always a pleasure.
Good luck, Coach.
Always a pleasure. Thank you. Thank you, guys.
And that about puts the wraps on our final from Bay City Central's home game at Handy. 7-0 victory. Have a great day, all.